Yo, what's going on, guys? My name is Zed, and welcome to this video. This is last week I watched number 35, and without any further ado, let's get into it.
This is cashier number 1. Tell Zach he's messed with the bull one too many times. The bull's in the china shop. I am the bull. He is the china shop.
My uncle had a bull. Big cojones.
Jorge's uncle had a big...
So, the first movie I watched this week was Employee of the Month. I have never heard of this movie. It was just one of those late night watches, scrolling through Netflix, and I was like, this could be okay. And it was okay. I enjoyed it. I got some laughs out of it. I especially like the characters in this movie. I felt like it was a good ensemble of character actors playing really good characters, like just funny, interesting, especially the optometrist guy. I can't remember who the actor is, but I know he's been, in and out of trouble a lot. But I liked his character. He's an optometrist that has horrible eyesight. He never knows where he's looking. He never knows who's talking, what's happening. And I think that's just a funny little continuing bit that really doesn't get old. And then also, here we go, Dane Cook, a comedian I only know from the Your Mom's House podcast. I'm not familiar with his actual stand-up or really any of his other movies, but I know he was huge, or still is huge, and all I know is that his brother took millions of his dollars, and then he sent his brother to prison. And that's basically all I know about the guy. But what I will say is, while watching this movie, all I could think about is if Deadpool was made in the early 2000s, Dane Cook probably would have played him. Because I could definitely, Dane Cook and Ryan Reynolds are like the exact same almost. Just their comedic style, their charm, just the way they deliver lines, the way they carry themselves, just very, very similar. So overall, I enjoyed this one. It was a fun watch, and there's not too much I have left to say. So, Employee of the Month, 3 out of 5 stars.
For Mike Pillsbury, life on planet Earth has never been easy.
You idiot, you're running the wrong way!
So he sent a call for help into outer space.
Fellow citizens of the galaxy, I do not belong on this planet. Come and get me!
So then I moved on to Can of Worms. And I'll be honest with you, when I first started watching this movie, I initially turned it off about less than 10 minutes in. I just didn't think I would enjoy it. It just seemed very... I don't know. It didn't seem like I was going to have a great time, but I basically left the rest of the day, did not watch it, and then the next day, that morning, I turned it back on with breakfast, and I said, you know what? I'm going to try. I'm going to continue this movie. And I enjoyed it. I watched the rest of it, and it was very cheesy, but I'm a big fan of, puppets, and there's a lot of really great puppets in this movie. And I just I felt its charm after a while. It brought me back to 8 o'clock p.m. On Disney Channel. Me and my mom growing up, every night, 8 p.m., I was able to stay up and watch the Disney Channel original movie that was on that night. And we watched it together, and we always had a great time. It brought me back to those times where, you had really great ones like The 13th Year, and then you had some not-so-great ones like Can of Worms, but it was still charming. It was just charming to watch, but it was just cheesy enough to where you kind of get that little hint of cringe, but it's also charming enough to make you continue watching. Charming. We'll just use charming. It was charming. It was fine. So Can of Worms, I would give 3 out of 5 stars.
Do you smell something?
Don't Look Under the Bed. I remember I had a friend who was terrified of this movie because of one particular scene where the imaginary friend in this movie is turning into a boogeyman, and he's crawling across the floor. It's actually a really creepy shot. He has these really cool contact lenses in, and these cool like claws, and so she was very, very scared of that scene in this movie, and that's basically all I remember. I had to have seen this movie before because there were times where I was like, that's very familiar, but for all intents and purposes, it was kind of a first-time watch. And I enjoyed it. I thought it was pretty good. I loved especially like the boogie realm towards the end of the movie. Really great set design. Just these really big props like the giant sandwich and roller skate. And there was a whole like sequence that was kind of like straight out of like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, where they're riding this giant toy car. Really reminiscent of the Bumblebee scene. And it's shot very similarly. But the character that was the standout in this whole entire movie was the imaginary friend character. Though I'm forgetting his name right now. One Google search later, Larry Houdini. There we go. Larry was just a great character. That actor had so much charisma and spunk and energy, and he really delivered that role quite well. And this camera is a bit... Yeah, there we go. Just as it was goofy when it came to stuff like Boogie Goo, it was just as like emotional when it came to forgetting your imaginary friend and what that can do to them. In this movie, when you forget about your imaginary friend too soon, they end up turning into a boogeyman, and then they start terrorizing kids. And there's this whole subplot in the movie, well, not even really subplot, it was kind of the plot of the movie about growing up too quickly. Even if you're going through very adult things as a kid, you should try to keep your adolescence for as long as you can. There's a lot of really great undertones in this movie that I appreciated because for me personally, I had to grow up really fast because of certain things that happened to me and certain people I had in my life. And then now that I'm an adult, you can see the way I live and the things I do. I collect toys and movies, and now I have I'm trying to bring my childhood back and trying to get, a second go at it. So I appreciated that of this movie. Don't Look Under the Bed, I would give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. I'll definitely be watching this movie again.
All right, Tippy, hand over the cash box and I might leave your brains inside your skull.
Well, I'll tell you what, Ski King. Why don't you just take your mama home some chicken, and then I won't have to stuff my boot all up in your ass.
I don't like chicken.
Rob Zombie makes me so fucking uncomfortable.
Oh, hey, no fair! Mockingbirds munched me, mother!
Here comes the first one. Get ready to pull down there.
My sisters were swallowed by swallows!
Pull!
And then after watching some Rob Zombie, I had to cleanse my palate with some good old James and the Giant Peach from the mind of Tim Burton. Well, at least his imagining of the story by Roald Dahl, who is the mind behind Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, or Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, rather, the BFG, Matilda, and so on and so forth. But this movie, I remember the most watching it in school. This movie and Night at the Museum, I watched so many times in school, and we always all enjoyed it, even when we were getting like older. When James and the Giant Peach came on, it was like, oh shit! It's fun. It has so many great styles of animation, including its live action elements, and it's just overall really good, really well done. I forgot just how much I liked it. I watched it while eating dinner, or at the tail end of dinner, and it was great. Especially liked the bug characters, right? Like I liked the spider, Miss Spider. I liked Mr. Centipede, and then the old Green Cricket, or the old, I can't remember what I like those three characters especially. But just as fun, Miss Ladybug, the worm, and the glowworm wasn't in the movie that much. I can't really say I like that character, but I basically just spent a minute of your time telling you that I liked every character in the movie. James and the Giant Peach, I would give 4 out of 5 stars. And that concludes our week of movies. I don't know if you can tell, still a little bit sick, a little bit under the weather still, got a little bit of an ear infection going on, still stuffed up. My throat's been tickling this entire time, but luckily my grandparents have gotten over their illness and now it's on to me. But I am still happy to talk about movies, and want to thank you guys for watching. I hope you all enjoyed, and until next time guys, I'll be seeing you later. Peace.